Hey guys, it's Rush G. How's it going? We're doing a video today on Oki setups. So we've covered Oki in terms of like specific setups for quick rise, back rise for each of Ken's major knockdowns. Well, there's quite a few I ran through actually in the videos. So there's a series for that. I'll put the link in the video description. What we're looking today at is how to clean up people's Oki. So we're looking at manually timing Oki rather than using quick rise, back rise setups. So I'm going to quickly show you something before we go into detail. So we'll go into quick rise first. Akuma has got wake up 3 frame set. You can see there. So his 3 frame has got a lot of range. That's why I've gone for Akuma. So I'm going to do Chin Buster, Heavy Kick Tatsu. And we all know now that if you dash forward 4 frame, that's the Oki for quick rise. And if you do dash forward heavy punch, stand heavy punch, that's the Oki setup for back rise. Well, the most common ones we use. So let's try that now. Alright, it's a bad start. 4 frame. And if you go to back rise, yeah, don't need to do the whole combo, you get the idea. So what happens if they back rise and you do the 4 frame setup? Let's have a look. The 4 frame whiffs and you get hit. And likewise, if you do the quick rise setup with heavy punch, you lose. Akuma's 3 frame hits you during your startup and startup frames of the same heavy punch. So this is the whole point of the video. You have to use the exact right combination of Oki setups based on what your opponent's doing. If your opponent's back rising all the time, you know to go for all the back rise setups at the exact same token. If they go for quick rise setups, you know to go for quick rise Oki. The problem with this is you're guessing. You are guessing what they're going to do each time. And I think that's part of the problem, and that's what I found when I was recording these setups in the Oki series. I was thinking to myself the entire time, is this the right thing to do? Should you memorize all these setups in your head and then risk just doing whatever you think is right in match to beat your opponent? I personally don't think it's the approach. I think a better approach is to manually time. So if we look at, let's keep them to quick rise first, yeah. So we're going to go for, before I go into the manual timing of things, I think the best Oki buttons for Ken, I think any 4 frame combinations, any 4 frame into a combo, can be that, can be that, can be that. I think 4 frame buttons and crouching medium punch, I think those are the best 2 situations to use. So a safe 6 frame has quite good range as well. And 4 frame. 4 frame is good because it gives you can leave it to the very last few frames to react to their quick rise, back rise choice, and then you can go for an attack. Because it obviously comes out very quick. It has 4 frames to start up. It's going to take the least amount of time to make contact with the opponent. So think about it. If you want to leave it to the last few frames to decide what you want to do against the opponent, you want the quickest move that's going to come out to catch them, don't you? It makes perfect sense. So that's why I think a 4 frame button is, for manual timing, 4 frames are really good, and I use them a lot now in my matches. And to be honest, when I do land them, it's not laggy. I seem to land my Oki pretty much all the time. The other button, like I said as well, is crouch and medium punch. The reason why crouch and medium punch is good is because it's fairly quick. It's 6 frame, and I don't even know the reason why it's so good. It just it feels like it's got loads of active frames. I think it's only got like 2 active frames anyway, but it just feels like a really good button. It just feels like it hits every time. I suppose it has priority over lights as well, so it's a 6 frame medium that will prioritize over any light buttons. But I don't know, it just seems to hit all the time. Maybe it's because it's got more active frames. I'll have to look at that later on. But those are the 2 main Oki buttons I like to go for. And your follow-ups, like I said, are, if you do crouch and medium punch, your ideal follow-up is going to be stand light kick. You can do that medium punch, but you have to be in range. You have to hope you don't get counter hit, push back. 4 frame, like I said, whatever you want. I'm a big fan of the light punches now for 4 frame because it leaves no gap. That's a true block string, whereas there's gaps there which people can mash out of if they really want to. They can block the first one and then mash 3 frame and it'll probably beat the stand light kick. So I do like these shoestrings. So I completely forgot where I was going. I'm talking way too much as usual. I think so. That's right. Yeah. So let's manually time these Oki setups now. So let's not do the dash forward. So think of the frame data here. So if they quick rise, as soon as you've scored the knockdown, you go dash forward 4 frame to get the timing right. If your dash forward is late or your 4 frame is late, that happens. You get hit because your time is not correct. But if you leave it manually, instead of dashing, you walk forwards. So you remove the dash forward frame data because you're using the frame data of the dash forward and the frame data of the 4 frame to automatically time the Oki setup. If you just walk forward, you're freestyling the whole situation now. You're walking in to see what they do and you're watching the opponent now. You're no longer watching Ken, you're watching the opponent. You're walking in. All right, okay, I think they're going to quit. You're still thinking to some degree, not 100% sure. It looks like they're quick rising. I'm going to 4 frame there. Looks like they're back rising. I'm going to wait a little longer. And then you 4 frame. That's the whole point of this video. It's manually timing and recognizing their wake up choice and recognizing their patterns. So you're downloading information in the match, during the match as well. You're making a mental note of like, okay, this guy's back rising a lot. Maybe he'll quick rise now. Let me see. Walk in. Oh yeah, they have quick rise. Let me go for my meaty a little earlier. And you're going for because you're manually timing, you're going for these 4 frame, these fast buttons, not these slower meaty buttons. As far as we've got a few meaties I used, stand medium kick. These are slow buttons. Oh, stand heavy punch for example. That's a 9 frame button. You don't want to manually time and go for a 9 frame because this is more than half the speed, the startup of that. Sorry, hang on, less than half, that's right, yeah. Less than half, that's 4, it's 9. So let's try this again now with manual timing. Perfect, first one already worked. Now manual timing, again, you leave yourself open for error. You leave yourself open for bad decision making, so you could choose the wrong timing. You may look like a quick rise and may back rise. But the reason why I'm sharing it is because I feel like this has helped my Oki game so much. And if it's helped me, it could help you. So let's try that again now. Let's try and go for a full combo rather than just the confirmed. Alright, bad timing, probably bad inputs as well. There you go. You can see I've got that down pretty well. You gotta remember guys, this is the bump control pad, so if I get bad inputs then that's my excuse. Yeah, bad link there, but you get the idea though, don't you? You know what I'm saying? You can manually time, and if they're back rise, so I obviously know what they're going to do because I'm setting it on the on training mode. Exact same situation. I walked forward a little bit more, and that proves that the timing I've got pretty down. Because remember, that's not autopilot. That's me manually walking in and reacting to the back rise. Well, I know he's going to back rise, but I'm still reacting to the animation and manually timing it all, and it's still hitting. I thought the ultimate test is I don't like to do like things like this on videos because I'm more focused on the commentary rather than the actual scenario. Let's give it a try. So that's random now. Remember, that was random and he quick rised. Quick rise again, and it is set to random. No rise. That's still a scenario. Oops. Trying to get back rise. There you go. So that, I don't know how many that was. 10 for 10, 7 for 7, whatever it was. 100% hit rate on random quick rise, back rise, and no rise. You know what I mean? So I didn't drop one of them then at all. And that's what I'm saying, guys. I think it's really good. I think it's good to go out your way to train against different characters, because different characters have different animations for their quick rise, back rise. But where you notice you're losing to your meaty buttons, especially if you're using these predetermined Oki setups, the dash forward into this or the V skill into that, I think it's a good decision to look at this. If you want to up your game and you want to improve, I can't tell you, man, this has really helped me improve my game. I'm not losing to bullshit on wake up now. It's a big thing. That's one particular knockdown. That's an easy knockdown because that's a close range knockdown. What if you go for something different? So let's say back to normal recovery. I've proven myself there, I think. Let's go for chin buster to heavy punch DP. So can I walk forward here? You can for quick rise, but you're quite far out now. You know. Okay, and your second hit's not working. Back rise. If quick rise is struggling, back rise will definitely struggle. Can I walk in there? Nah. I can walk in and even miss. I won't get hit by the wake up button. So now you've got to rely on other methods to get in. So I think, looking at my chart, heavy punch DP knockdown for quick rise is V skill into 6 frame. Back rise heavy punch DP is dash 4 frame. Now we don't want to use dash because dash and another dash, that's the longest period of time. Basically what I'm trying to say, the V skill takes less frames before it can be cancelled than dash. Dash takes more time. It basically eats into your Oki decision making time. So we're going to look at V skill. So V skill is, it's fine for quick rise. Quick rise is the fastest rise type, gives you less time to react. But according to my chart, you can V skill into 6 frame, which also means you can V skill into 4 frame as well, because if you delay the 4 frame by 2 frames, it will still land meaty there or around about. So let's try that now. Let's see what happens. Set back to quick rise. So let's look at the predetermined Oki setup first. V skill 6 frame. That works. We know that works. So let's try 4 frame now. Let's try and manually time this. So we're going to still V skill in, but I want to go for 4 frame because I want to react to what they do. It works. Manually timed again, based on the opponent's wake up animation. And one key fact with this as well, I'm going to use V skill for both knockdown types, so it's not going to vary between the two. When I did the Oki setup videos, I was trying to get the Oki to be the same for both, so I tried to get V skill or dash for both scenarios. Like with this heavy punch DP one, the heavy punch DP, I've got dash for back rise and I've got V skill for quick rise. When you make a decision based on what you want to go for, you're guessing the quick rise, back rise, you're going for it. You're like, yeah, I'm going to V skill in, I'm going to dash in. If you go for dash, if they quick rise jab, you've lost already because you're going to get hit. That's why I think this method is very good. So let's go for back rise now, and let's go for the V skill. Oops. It's maybe a bit more tricky because they're further out. All my timing's bad. Okay, so there is a time you can land that. It's so far out, it just doesn't look like it's going to hit. So you still get a 4 frame Oki off that same situation. And this is my point. You can manually time and react to, so if I were to, I'm not going to do this again, but if I do it to random, if I were to do the same situation, you know, I can do this. So I know now stand light punch, stand light kick is a good Oki setup. Manual timed, if I time it right, and it'll work against the back rise as well. So you see where I'm going with this, can't you? You can see that what I'm trying to say is I'm trying to say have one Oki setup but react to the quick rise, back rise. That's the be all and end of the video. Have one Oki setup for your knockdown, the different knockdowns that will cover both scenarios. There are some situations you can't do that. A good example is the Tatsu. If he quick rises, that's the range you're at. Now if I V skill and press a button, I'm at that range. You can see the range isn't very good. If I do back rise, see where he ends up. That's a V skill. I've stopped the V skill as fast as I can. That's where Ken can stop his V skill and press something. What's going to hit? Even this 6 frame misses there. So these knockdowns, these are the ones where you're losing. These are the ones you're getting hit out of because you're chasing the opponent down, trying to get your turn. Like you're trying to maintain the momentum. what's happening is you aren't able to get in quick enough to press a button. So if I'm going to chase Akuma down now after back rise and try and do something. I can't. There is a timing you can get something, but you're risking too much. It's not worth going for it because they're out of the threat. They're out of the range to be actually in a very vulnerable state. They've got every right to press a button because you're so far out. Quick rise as well. You know, I know the Oki for that. I know what to go for. That's because I know they're going to quick rise. I'm trying to react. I press like a slow button. See, if the quick rise is that, the EX tattoo is fine, but the back rise you're screwed. Because the back rise, you know, opponents will back rise at some point. That's why I don't chase them down, because I don't want to risk getting knocked down myself on their wake up. You see where I'm going with this? I'm sort of like explaining the fact that you don't want to run into situations that can be risky for you. That's a big risk for you because their back rise press a button and you're going to chase them down. Let's try and dash. Let's just keep dashing until I can get in. You know, you might do a double dash. Okay, it does work. Double dash does work. But if they quick rise, what happens now if I double dash? I lose. You see what I'm saying? There's not a chase down you can do for both scenarios. It's the same and gives you a meaty setup. You can chase them down if they quick rise and attack. If you go for V skill, you can chase them down if they back rise with double dash, and it'll work. If you do the double dash, because the only way you can get them if he back rises, and they quick rise, you've already lost. Then you know Akuma can convert stand light punch into V trigger into a massive damage combo. Before you know, you've lost the game. These types of knockdowns are the ones not to chase down. Chase them down if they're in the corner. Don't completely write it off. That's what I want. If they're in the corner, you don't even have to walk. You just manually time because you're right next to them. So with a button. You see, like there it's completely different. Their back rise. What's he on? If he back rises now, you're right next to them. That's what you want. You want to be close to them to manually time your buttons. You want them to be in a situation where they cannot escape. When you throw them out of, you know, throw them on the other side of the screen, like that, you've thrown away any close range pressure. That's why you want to go for knockdowns that keep them close. So, like the heavy katatsu, heavy katatsu is great because it keeps them close, keeps them within your pressure range. Heavy punch DP is not too bad, it's okay. Heavy punch DP is very good for shimmy because it throws them out but not far enough where you can't maintain pressure. You also get the grab off of if you can time it right, you can dash up and you can V skill to grab as well if you can time it correctly. So heavy punch DP is sort of like a mid-range sort of situation, whereas EX tattoo is really bad. It works in the V trigger because they go flying, they go way out of range there. So V trigger is even worse. I think V trigger is actually worse for heavy punch DP as well. Yeah, see, it changes again. So heavy punch DP, I probably wouldn't chase them down after that. But then again, from V trigger, probably go for medium punch DP. Reason being, it keeps them close. Still does okay damage. You can see there, you can manually time. So I'm probably going around in circles here, guys, but you know, I like to talk about this thing. I'm passionate about the tech. But this is how to build a good Oki game. Make good decisions on when to run in. Make good decisions on when not to run in. Did I already say that? When to run in and when not to run in. You get the idea. Was there something else I wanted to say? I can't even remember. So yeah, so pick your knockdown, your combo enders. Pick them carefully and pick them based on the Oki setup you want to go for. One thing I'm quite cheeky with now is I'll go for like this. Well, actually, not even that. I think it'll be like more like this. And I'll go for crouch and melee punch, even at range. So where it doesn't even look like a proper Oki setup. I'll use the confirm. People don't expect it. If I can V skill, probably out of range that, but oh, okay, it didn't combo, but it was just on the tip of the range. But I do that a lot because it looks like I'm not prepared to set up an Oki setup, but I actually am preparing out an Oki setup. I'm just out of sort of typical Oki range, if you know what I'm saying. So I guess this would be a good situation to explain that one. let them back rise. There you go, that's a better example. I walk in a tiny bit and crouch and melee punch based on their back rise animation. I think that's it, guys. I don't think there's anything really else to cover with this one. I think it's just practice your preferred Oki setups in terms of like what you like to go for, your 4 frames or your 6 frames, and try and get something that works after that knockdown for quick rise and back rise, and then practice the timing based on their rise animation, quick rise, back rise and null rise. And trust me, if you can do that, it is hard work, don't get me wrong. It's not simple, it's not an overnight thing, but your Oki game will improve by so much, and you'll feel like a better player for it because you'll see the improvements as well. Just be warned, if it's very laggy, you're going to struggle to do that because you're going to think you pressed the button at the right time, but your buttons will be well too late, and way too late, and they won't work. So guys, I think that's pretty much it. I don't think I need to go into any more detail, but I think it's good to make a chart of the common knockdowns. So heavy punch DP, heavy kitatsu, and the V-trigger ones, the medium punch DP, anti-airs, blah blah blah. Medium punch DP anti-airs are a little difficult because height of the opponent falling affects that, but again, if you manually time it, shouldn't be a problem. And find something that fits the quick rise, back rise, or catch them in both scenarios, and look at manual timing them. Again, like I said, your Oki game will improve loads, trust me. So guys, hope that's helped. Sorry that I rabbited on. Let me know how you get on. Catch you next video. Take care.